You pick the side, I just hope you gon' stand on it.
Hey, welcome back to you guys to the Stand On It podcast, the first episode of 2026 of the new year. It's just me this episode. It's so much I want to get off my chest. We're all from the NFL season. There's so much to talk about. MVP, Myles, Garrett sack record. So whatever you do, don't turn the channel. I'm here. I'll give y'all all of my takes and all my predictions for the playoffs. Uh, Whatever you do, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, send the pod out to some people you know, trying to grow the pod, trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the hopefully end of the year. So you guys do that. So going into segment one, I'm gonna be talking about the games that just transpired and the games that happened on Saturday. So first game I want to talk about is the Niners versus the Seahawks. Um, they were battling for the number one seed for throughout the whole playoffs to have home field advantage in the NFC. 13-3. It wasn't really a great game. It was really a defensive game. Um, and I think the basis of what I got from that game will be that Brock Purdy struggles versus Mike McDonald defenses that he has in the past. Brock Purdy had 6 touchdowns and 8 interceptions in the 5 games he played against Mike McDonald. So uh, that dates back to when he played them when Mike McDonald was the defensive coordinator for the Ravens, and he threw 4 interceptions that game. But I think that interception really wasn't Brock's fault. I feel like Christian McCaffrey didn't look the ball in, and then it was intercepted by the Seahawks defender. And I think that took all the momentum away because they were driving down the field, trying to score to tie up the game. And that interception cost them. It really probably cost them a number one seed. Seattle is a very good team. Sam Darnold really is not a lot on his plate right now because the defense is playing lights out. And you got JSN, who's most likely going to win Offensive Player of the Year. We'll get to that prediction later. But I think overall, the game, the Niners really wanted that win. They could have had home field advantage. They have a couple players banged up. Fred Warner is trying to make his return back from a fractured ankle he has suffered. So I know they really wanted that game. So now they will be on the road versus Philly. So we'll see how that goes. And all you Niner fans that keep getting mad, I'm trolling y'all. Don't let me see y'all lose next week because it might get even worse. So that's my takeaway from the first game. Second game I want to talk about is a game that just finished wrapping up not too long ago. Baltimore Ravens versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. What a game. One of the best games that the NFL has produced this far. The last game, game 272 out of 272, that was a great game. I think the Baltimore Ravens find more and more ways to lose football games more than any other franchise in the NFL. Derrick Henry had a great game last week, had almost 250 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns, a career high in carries with 36. Uh, the vocal point of the Ravens first half offense was to give Derrick Henry the ball. He had over 100 yards. Uh, Almost 100 yards in the first half, I believe. And yeah, Lamar only had to throw the ball 6 times. But once Pittsburgh stopped the run, we're playing with 5-man fronts. Lamar had to throw the ball a lot, and he rose to the occasion, man. There's been a lot of talk about whether he wants to play for the Ravens or whether he wants John Harbaugh to be back. I'll get onto that later. But him willing his team and doing what he can, he's coming off an injury. Um, Him and Zay Flowers had a great connection today. Back to back leading scoring touchdowns, deep shots at that with Zay Flowers. And he played a great game, man. First half was, really wasn't that great because he only threw the ball 6 times, 4 for 6. But when he needed to be Lamar Jackson, he showed why he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. On the Steelers aspect, Aaron Rodgers had a vintage Aaron Rodgers game. No DK Metcalf serving a suspension, but still almost had 300 yards passing today. He was making great throws, And that last throw he threw to Calvin Austin, that was a heck of a route by Calvin Austin. And yeah, now the Steelers will be playing the Texans, so we'll see how that goes. But I want to touch on the Baltimore Ravens. Like I said earlier, they find ways to lose every week, every year. They always seem like they're up, and then they don't close the lead. It was up 10-0 versus the Steelers. Couldn't close that. Like I said, they find different ways to lose. That kick by Tyler Loop, who only has missed 3 field goals the whole season, but missing that chip shot field goal, I think he might not be on their roster next year. That's type of kicks right there where a lot of changes could happen because they were this close from winning the division. Looked like they were gonna go in the playoffs and play Houston. And yeah, if I was running the Baltimore Ravens, I would definitely not bring back John Harbaugh. I wouldn't bring back the defensive coordinator. I really would fire all the staff, start over, try to get a young head coach in there, like an offensive guru that could build with Lamar and Derrick Henry almost had won the rushing title today. So being second in the league in rushing at 32 years old, he got a couple more seasons left in him, I think, good years, and you can't waste that. And I think they need to go get Lamar Jackson another weapon. Zay Flowers had a great game. They number one receiver. The RB1, Derrick Henry, and Lamar Jackson all had great games, but you need somebody that can complement Zay Flowers and Lamar Jackson. Um, their number two receiver, Rashad Bateman, only had 227 receiving yards the whole season, and they're paying him $30 million a year. Not a year, but his 3-year deal worth $30 million. So I think you can't service that. It's a lot of good receivers on the free agent market that they could try to get to help Lamar. But Baltimore really failed Lamar this year. I know he was hurt. It wasn't his best season, but y'all got to give him some help in the trenches. Like his offensive line isn't the best. You start in the seventh round, left guard. You started one of the worst right guards in the league. You need to give Lamar Jackson some help because he's one of the best quarterbacks of all time, and you can't waste his prime like that. So I just think they got to clean house and start over and rebuild. Well, not really rebuild, but retool because when you have a top five quarterback, your Super Bowl window is always going to be open. So we'll see if they actually fire John Harbaugh. But if I was the Ravens general manager, I would invest in getting another weapon for Lamar and investing in the trenches, whether that's D line and O line. But you got to do better with that. So moving on, now we'll be talking about the playoff matchups and my predictions on who will make it to the Super Bowl. So the two number one seeds for the AFC and the NFC is the Broncos and the Seahawks. So we'll be going over who would they be playing after the next week's games. So the first game is the game we just talked about, the winners, Steelers versus the Texans. I'm gonna go with the Texans. I think the Texans front four will get after Aaron Rodgers, something that the Ravens couldn't do. When you have Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter both have double-digit sacks this season, I think that pass rush would be too much, and they have great corners. Even with DK coming back, Stingley is no joke, and Kamari Lassiter is not a bad corner either. So I'm gonna roll with the Texans. Uh, then the Bengals, I mean not Bengals, they didn't make it. Bills and Jaguars, I'm gonna go. This is a 50-50 game, but I'm gonna go with the Jags. I think the defense created a lot of turnovers, and I just think that'd be too much for the Bills to overcome. So next game will be the Chargers and the Patriots, and I'm going to pick the Patriots. It'll be Drake May's first playoff game in his career, but I think he will do what he's supposed to do and beat the Chargers. So going to the NFC, like I said, the Seahawks have the number one seed, so they're on the bye. So the first game I'll be talking about will be the Panthers and Rams, a rematch from the regular season where the Panthers upset the Rams and they won that game. I think the Rams get back and they'll beat the Panthers pretty handily. The next game, the game I'm looking forward to the most is the Niners and Eagles. I think the Eagles pull that one out, but I'm I know I've been trolling my Niner fans over there, but I can see the Niners upsetting the Eagles if they stop Saquon Barkley. But I'm still gonna roll with the Eagles. And then the next game will be the Packers versus the Bears. I'm gonna take I'm gonna take the Packers in the upset. It's always one upset in the playoffs every year. So I'm gonna go Packers and Bears. The Packers really should have won the last game, but that onside kick and some other miscues that happened was the reason why the Bears won. So next, so that would be my predictions for that this week, and I'll go keep doing my predictions every week on who I think will go further and eventually make it to the Super Bowl. Another thing I want to talk about is a huge shout out to Myles Garrett, who broke the sack record with 23 sacks today. He got a clutch sack on just Joe Burrow. I was watching that whole game. I didn't think he was going to get it because Joe Burrow was doing everything in his power not to get sacked by Myles Garrett. But Myles Garrett, the sack that he had on Joe Burrow, he got a great get off and he was able to get Joe Burrow before he even got to really see him to avoid him. So shout out Myles Garrett. I know it's been a hard season for him. He's one of the greatest defensive ends of all time. And for him to, get that sack record means a lot. And to get a win too. So he'll always remember that. And at least he'll know that my team won as well. So shout out him. So now I'm gonna get into my award predictions. So we're gonna start off with MVP. It's a two-man race between Drake May and Matthew Stafford, but my MVP this year will be Matthew Stafford. I know a lot of people have been wanting to give Drake May the MVP, but the stats that Matthew Stafford have is ridiculous, and I just feel like you can't not give it to him. And I think if he gets this MVP and even wins the Super Bowl, or I don't even think he ought to win the Super Bowl, but I think if he gets the MVP, he would be in the Hall of Fame most definitely. He's top 10 in passing yards. He's has one of the best arms of all time. He can make every throw you need him to. So I just think if he can get this MVP, it'll help his legacy for sure. So going to my offensive player of the year, I said it earlier, I say it again. I think the offensive player of the year will be Jackson Smith and Jigba. Nobody seen this coming, and he had a great season, almost 1,800 receiving yards, 10 touchdowns. He's the true definition of a wide receiver one. So I'm gonna give him the nod on that. My defensive player of the year is a no-brainer. I'm gonna go with Myles Garrett. Like I said, just broke the sack record with 23 sacks. He should be a unanimous defensive player of the year. If anybody else gets consideration, they deserve their votes to be taken away. So now I'm gonna go with coach of the year. It's a lot of great candidates. Um, but I'm gonna go with Mike Vrabel for the Patriots. I believe that he deserves to win Coach of the Year because nobody's seen the Patriots winning 14 games and being a number 2 seed and really could have been a number 1 seed. So I'm gonna go Mike Vrabel. And then now I'm gonna go to Offensive Rookie of the Year. And my Offensive Rookie of the Year, I'm gonna go T-Mac from the Panthers, 1,000-yard receiver, a real definition of a wide receiver one for the Panthers, with limited opportunities. But I think he has a chance to be one of the best receivers in the league. He just got to keep working, but his future is real bright. So I'm gonna go with T-Mac. Now for my Defensive Rookie of the Year, I'm gonna go with Carson Schlesinger, middle linebacker for the Cleveland Browns. If you watch his tape and watch film on him, he's everywhere. He's getting tackles for loss, stopping the running backs in the backfield, is covering. He's doing everything, and they got a stud in the second round. The Cleveland Browns, the 8 draft class they had were one of the best draft class this year. So I will go with him. He just gotta keep doing his thing though. And the Browns, once they figure out that quarterback position, whether it's Shador or somebody in the draft, I think the sky's the limit for that franchise if they get the right people in there. So yeah, those are my award predictions for this year. It's been a great year for football. It's been a lot of close games, and I feel like the NFL, Super Bowl, and all that good stuff is wide open for both conferences. Um, I'll get to my Super Bowl pick later throughout the weeks, throughout the playoffs, but right now I'm leaning towards uh to come out the AFC. I think it's either going to be Denver or the Patriots, but I'm gonna roll with the Broncos. I think the Broncos got what they need to go far and to the Super Bowl. And then for the NFC, I still believe in the Rams. I still think the Rams gonna get hot. Devontae Adams is coming back. They red zone threat, and I think that's gonna help Matthew Stafford tremendously as well as Puka Nacua. And then with the Broncos versus the Rams, I would probably take the Rams on that if somebody asked me today. So I can't wait to see how the playoffs shake out. I'm bummed my Raiders not in the playoffs. But hey, we got the number one pick. I just hope we don't mess it up. We need to get a quarterback, but we need so many things besides a quarterback too. So we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna keep you posted. In a couple weeks from now, we will be having a fantasy football episode for the championship winner, which is my boy Drew. Do a trophy presentation and all that good stuff. So yeah, man. I just wanted to hop on here quick, give you guys my reactions and my thoughts about everything. Um, Probably try to do this more often, just me. I'm trying to be consistent with this podcast, and I'm not gonna let anything stop me from doing that. So I just appreciate all the support that you guys are doing. Uh, Please continue to watch the pod. If you got some takes that you want to talk to me about, I'm here. You can hit me in the DMs. I'm always willing to listen, always willing to talk sports with anybody. And yeah, and then my song of the day will be T.I. What You Know. You know, that's a banger right there. And you guys continue to get the hoodies. We got hoodies. We got stickers. Keep hitting me up or hit my boy Lil up. Uh and yeah, man. Hopefully Lil be back sooner than later. But I'm praying for my guy and that's my boy. So get well soon, bro. And love you, dog. And yeah, man, that's just a quick recap of all the stuff from week 18 and my predictions from that. So that's a wrap, you guys. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.
You pick the side, I just hope you gon' stand on it.